You know, I figured out that we don't really even technically live on an Earth. There's really no name tag. A particle is not really called a particle. That's all just what you would say is like social construct shit, which is knowledge, you know, just added knowledge. Now, how did I figure that out? I figured that out by not judging. You know, I stopped judging people, stopped judging things. And yeah, sure, I talk to people and I address stuff, but that doesn't mean I'm judging it. A lot of what I don't like is people's ideas, their behaviors, their actions, their reactions, their outlooks. None of that stuff is them. And they think it is. You know, that's one of the things that people have trouble with, is they can't differentiate. Like, I'm not going to argue somebody on science that really doesn't know much about science. And then if I say science sucks, they aren't science. So if they get offended that I'm offending science, that's a little bizarre. You know, I'm a little, that's all maturity. You know, that's like immature, stupid shit for morons. You know, that's moronic type thinking of immaturity. To become mature isn't to grow up and be a slave and pay bills. That's not adulting. That's lies. Okay, that's fucking normie culture bullshit. And yeah, so I stopped. When you judge, you put an emotional attachment to your observation. Otherwise, we're free to observe. We're allowed to observe and speak. Doesn't mean we're judging things. People try and slap that label on you all the time. And it's an easy one to dispel, but really they're trying to bind you up in like a magical bind, just to get you to shut up. Well, really, they're the same thing too. They do all the same shit as well. So, you know, we'd only be hypocrites, I guess, at that rate. But then there's mercy and forgiving. Mercy and forgiving is taken back, to deduce, to subtract. You know, so I said, you know how they name the particle? I subtract the name of the particle. If I said that guy's an asshole, you know, I don't really attach to that. I don't, you know, it's there, but I don't really care about that much. And you need to use the mind's eye to do that. You don't need to use a big giant machine to remove quantum fuzziness, like all these fucking crazy science people are saying. That the machines are literally eating their mind. And they're stupid. They've lost all their common sense. A lot of this is just common sense. Like when you think about it and say the Earth doesn't really have a name called Earth, there's no name tag on the Earth, that's common sense. It's not that you're doing any masterful thing of, you know, like science likes to state. Science likes to act like they do this all-powerful, all-crazy shit. And, you know, that just builds their ego, which ruins their science. That's why they just spin circles and eat their own puke. They have yet to get back to square one, and all they do is insanity. They have yet to get back to square one, which is basically the I am. Start doing science in that manner, which Jesus Christ talked of so long ago in the dogma. And he says, when thine eye be single, then the whole body will be filled with light. That's what he's talking about, your mind's eye. Once you open your mind's eye and you stop doing polarity junk. See, that's the whole thing I'm trying to get to. I've been trying to get to since 2013 is my agenda here. So I talked about relativism back in like 2013, how all that was poison. That poisons your mind and things like that. Creates bias. What I'm trying to do is get off the mind control, and then we can open our mind's eye. And that's the whole point, to get out of bias and polarity. And I sold that idea to academia a long time ago. They're pretty much thieves and rape culture clowns. As you can see, Jordan Peterson had no idea really what relativism is or what to do with that. He just knows how to talk and cry Islamophobe in the fucking town like a troglodyte. Like in World of Warcraft, he's that guy that just sits in the town and talks. He doesn't really like have any skill to go out there. I mean, in normie culture, sure he does, but normie culture is all rigged so stupid people can seem smart. That way you don't get too smart. They don't want people getting smart. They want you to be ignorant. So, you know, they give you this junk that looks like it works. And then they build up a whole kingdom of bullshit that accepts junk. And, you know, like you say, Earth, or if you know every name of the planet and every animal out there in the animal kingdom, somehow that gives IQ. The animals don't really have names. The Earth doesn't really have names. The planets don't really have names. There's no IQ in that. That's all schizophrenic nonsense.